we might look at a few things without. We'll probably start with without, and then we'll start looking at some of the things within. I'm going to do, since as you all hopefully know by now, I am at this on my own. I'm going to look and make sure every single little thing is working. We're going to pull up our YouTube. Today we're going to continue to map out some rocky places in Alabama is what we're going to do just a little bit of. And we're rocking on there just fine. And we're casting there, and that looks good. We're casting there. And Facebook. So I'm testing Facebook. Welcome. If anybody is watching on Facebook, let me know if Facebook is working for you. Okay. Let me know if you're coming to me from Facebook, because Facebook takes up a slot, and I'm finding that the audience in general is pretty engaged on Facebook, despite what folks might generally have to say about the different social media apps. And now I'm just going to throw out a link. There. There and there. Okay, and then we are going to talk about today, we're going to look at Moss Rock Preserve in central Alabama. A video that I made there, and it's a highly anomalous place next to the Cahaba River, which is also a highly anomalous river, and we will probably take a look at that river as well. I want to see kind of what you guys see if you see anything odd there, because Lord knows I sure do. Okay. We've got everything placed where we typically do, I believe. And let's let everybody know in a post. Rock on. All right, let's bring our chat up. Pretend like we've done this before. Should have put our hair up. See if we have anybody. Doesn't matter if we do or not. We are proceeding on, because I know I'm getting watchbacks, and I appreciate every single one of them. Gotten some interesting comments. I even appreciate you, and would love for, I think it was Flint. No, not that one. Flint, it's dude on YouTube. If you're watching, what was the end of your screen name? Anyway, it was like a Flint napper that had something to say. He watched a few minutes of one of my videos on the Kusada. Either way, man, there's lots of stuff I keep, well, really in buckets, but all around that I'd love to chat with anybody that's curious about it at any time. That's kind of part of going live. But what we're going to do here today is we're going to look at a couple of videos. I'm going to start with video of rocks, because everybody likes looking at big rocks. So we're going to start with Moss Rock Preserve. Shout out Nick from Occult Rejects. Nick, I've still got that footage, Nick, that we did. We gotta do something, man. What are we going to do with that footage? Okay. 'Cause I'm not going to show it here. All right. 'Cause we need to do something with it. So what's up, Nick? You've been quiet. Last time I saw you in person, you were like, hey, we need to do something with this footage. And then it's like, cricket. Cricket. All right, focus. Goodness gracious. So we're going to go way back here. We're going to go to Moss Rock Preserve. I believe I call it number 1. I know I'm not sharing screen yet because I'm not ready. I'm getting it prepped so I don't have to hunt it down here in a bit. We're going to pause it. And we might even start by reading a quick, oh, what are all these ads? Oh, that was in my ear, not yours. Sorry. Okay, so listen. I tell you what I did want to do. I want to give a quick shout out to some people on X that have been tagging me with articles. Spark Gap just sent me one. Let's see if we can share here with you guys while we wait for a few folks to trickle in. Um, yeah, thanks, Spark Gap. So we've got an article here. The Americas Revealed, unraveling the past of the Americas while preserving the past for the future. Yeah, sounds vaguely familiar to Our Best Future Requires the Truth of Our Past. So, interesting article. Georgia's secret volcanoes changed the state's Native American history. A violent volcanic explosion around 1700 in Nakuchi Valley caused the relocation of the Creek Indian capital to near Okmulgee Mounds, while most creeks moved farther south, leaving its large towns and mounds uninhabited. When Savannah was founded 33 years later, mixed blood European Jewish Creek gold miners were more inclined to remain, but some also moved southward. Chimney Mountain, seen above, continued to emit smoke until the 1886 Charleston earthquake. During 2018 and 2019, hot gases killed most of the vegetation on the top of Chimney Mountain. I have heard none of this. The fumes were only visible when the air was still cool and had high humidity. During the period leading up to the Charleston earthquake, Pigeon Roost Mountain in North Georgia belched flames, lightning, and large boulders so violently the display caught the attention of the New York Times. Huh. A new volcano also appeared on the slope of a peak in the Pisgah Mountains west of Asheville, North Carolina, in between the Nakuchi Valley and the Pisgah Mountains. Massive cracks appeared on mountainsides. People were wondering if the end times had arrived. By Richard L. Thornton, architect and city planner. Here we have maps. Anyway, interesting article, and part of what I want to start doing here, when I'm live, is just showing appreciation for people that tag me, bring information to me, articles to me, and there's quite a bit. So what I'm doing here is shouting out Spark Gap and sharing the Americas Revealed, which I believe, because I've seen so many articles from them, if we go to their home. We're gonna find a lot of posts and some great resources. So, cheers, gentlemen. All right, let's jump forward now. We've reached our what have we been? We've been about 8 minutes, so that's good enough to jump right into what I had planned for this evening. So let's stop sharing the article. Thank you again for the information as always. We also, he's going to feel left out if I don't. So we've also got Yanni, who's always, all right, I'm not sharing. Let me pull up, where you at, Yanni? See, I'm going to be slow. You see how I want to make sure everybody feels inclusive here. Let me find my notifications, because I just saw this before we went on. Yeah, okay. So let's pull up you, and let's now share so we can show everybody. And yep, that's how that works. Bam. Again, if you are with me, you're seeing why I don't announce these, because I'm still just sorting it all out. All right, Yanni. So we got right here, man. There we go. Yanni Boy, one, always tagging and bringing the most beautiful photographs. Here were today's. So, Water Wednesday, what is that? North end of Lake, I'm not even going to say it right. I'm not even going to try. My whole point was to let you know, I use X I try to put a lot of I'm casting here on X now, not just YouTube, and I try to put a lot of stuff there. I try to use it centralized, but I don't always respond to everything and everyone that does get sent my way. So this is my way of doing that. Thanks, man, for always including me in all the beautiful photographs that you share, especially the birds. The birds are always awesome. Okay, all right, cool. All right, now let's get back to the planned programming. If I can again remember that button. Wow, what's going on, guys? Okay, so let's look at Google Earth, as has been our want to begin and give everybody a quick grounding of where we're going to look at today. We're going to continue to evidence the sort of the large rock phenomenon that one can find here in Alabama that you may or may not be familiar with. But we're going to come a little further south from where we were yesterday on Lookout Mountain, and we're going to come down right exactly around Birmingham, for those of you that are familiar with the map, which I am bringing up here. And we're going to go to Moss Rock Preserve. Rock on. All right, now we need to share this with you guys. Screen? Yep, right. Google Earth. Yep, that one. Right. And then I need to come manage just a little bit. Yeah, okay. We need it more like that. Brilliant. Better. Oh, look, you can't see me past my name. All right, rock on. Let's do that. I just got to remember to stay centered. Okay, so here at Google Earth, I'm going to pan out, right, and give everybody a frame of reference. Okay, so here we are, Alabama, USA, globe, space. I like space. Oh, look, you can see the overlay right there on the globe, I guess, where the images were overlaying. And look at that, man. That's strange. Okay, back to what we were doing. Squirrel. All right, so where we were yesterday, let's see just how well. Does my cursor show up? Yeah, a little. A little. What's going on, Jay Quills? Thank you, guys. What's up, Sarah? How are you? Okay, so let me get right here. Okay. All right, Moss Rock Preserve is dead on in central Alabama. Okay, so we've got where we were yesterday is way up here in the northeast corner of Alabama on Lookout Mountain. Yeah. Now today we're going to come zoom in down here in Hoover, okay, which is in the immediate vicinity of Birmingham, as you can see here, but more for our point of interest near the Cahaba River. Oak Mountain State Park is a beautiful, beautiful spot to check out. So we're going to zoom in today, and I'm going to give you just a little walkthrough of this place, right? Moss Rock Preserve, here, shot from above. And as you can see, with so many of these places in Alabama, development is just, man, it's just everywhere, right? It's just all around on all sides. While I've got it open, look here at this river. So you see the red tag here. Let me place a tag if I don't know how to. Is that? Yeah. Okay, so let's add a place mark right here. Yeah, no, just. Yeah, no, just right now. Okay. All right, so from here to Moss Rock Preserve, right? And that only worked because you left one. This is something we won't be covering in today's episode. But for those that are familiar with my work, you'll know the triangular shaped mound, right? Which is located here on the Cahaba River. So I want to give everybody just a relational, and put the tag too far south anyway, idea of directly north of that, right? Little hair northwest you've got Moss Rock Preserve, which you'll be seeing today. Okay, and yeah, so those of you that aren't familiar with what all I've found right here in this location, stay tuned. Okay, we'll get there. It's a big part in the larger scheme of things. But right now, again, like I've said in every episode, I'm just trying to paint the picture for everybody. Right, get the landscape in your head. This is a curious river, this Cahaba River too. When you start scanning down its pathway, to anybody that likes to look at maps, that likes Google Earth, I encourage you, check out the Cahaba River. And it's a beautiful place. It has so much flora and fauna that is protected, but also at one time thought extinct from the earth. Oh, I see how to do the place marks now. But was found here along the Cahaba, including the beautiful Cahaba lily as well. So now let's click over to YouTube. That one's fairly important. And so the AI guys, Sarah and Jacqueline, the AI is like thinking I need to use a script. I don't know because because of all the pausing I'm doing here in the beginning. Yeah, Riverside's great. It really is. Thank you, Riverside, for all you're doing. Why is everything all right? We're gonna stop sharing now, and we're gonna close all that. And yeah, how did I? Oh no, how did I open the teleprompter? There, okay. Unproblematic when done accidentally. That's why I was thinking I needed a script. Got it. All right, guys, let's move on to our video about Moss Rock Preserve. I'm going to go ahead and try to get past the ads. Yeah. And here we go. Now that we're past the ads. Well, who else is? Tammy, what's going on, Tammy? I can drag myself anywhere on the canvas. Does that mean that's something I can do like now? So like when, oh, it is. It's highlighting me. It didn't. Is that new? So let's see if we do that. Can I? I can't drag me now. It's not letting me. That's not what she means. Can you tell I'm new? Is it showing? Tammy, what's going on? Hello, gang. And this is what I was responding to a minute ago. Yeah. Okay, and of course, Jacqueline. Let's get you up there. Universe Unveiled house, crew in the house, and Tammy, upstate New York. We can start you here, and you're just in time, too. I just got done with all the, flubbing around I like to do at the beginning to give everybody time to bring themselves here. So, listen, we're going to look at a video. It's some big rocks. I've showed everybody on the map. Tammy, you just missed the map, but we're in central Alabama, okay? So we're quite a bit further south than where we were if you saw any of yesterday's strange rock anomalies. And so we're touring Alabama at this point. The one unique thing to point out about this one in particular, though, is that it is, as everyone saw that was here for the map. Tammy, you see what happens? Get the fucking class on time, okay? We've had this chat, like really. Okay, it's is this place's location to the triangular mound there on the Cahaba River. Okay, I'm going to start a share screen now, and then Sarah, you'll have to let me know. Yeah, I love a map as well. What you were talking about there with I can drag myself, is that something that's probably post and editing, right? I don't do a lot of that. Can you tell? Is it obvious? Okay, so let's blow this bad boy up. Okay, here we go. Rock Preserve, and we are battling an incoming storm. I wouldn't say we're battling it. We're more looking forward to it, really. So Moss Rock Preserve here in Hoover, Alabama, is the place really where I first started noticing the let's call it, qualities that exhibited evidence to me of a high heat, high energy event in our ancient past. Some sort of give you context as we walk in here. The triangular mound, right? Which when you look at the LiDAR, the picture, the satellite picture from above, and you see my Rumble video of walking across the Cahaba River from the X to this mound, obviously engineered mound of rubble, right? Find the drill holes on that to confirm that that was engineered, right? So at that point, other than the shattering, the debris of these rocks, you know, that was evident all along that river and then piled up into this triangle. Outside of that, I hadn't seen anything one could call evidence of the high heat. You've got me here to talk. Okay, so let's just get to the rocks, which again I've got some excellent footage of. I guess I could use because it's all silent. From Nick from Occult Rejects, he came down and came to this place, and this is where we met for the first time, actually. And he did some filming, and I didn't have a mic on, right? Like, you know, I was just excited, right? And so you hear me off in the distance, thinking, you know, the mic's on or something, but it's not. But it's cool footage. Nick and I are gonna hopefully maybe get together sometime and look at that with you. Nowhere to here. So this is the first that stands out to you, you know, that's sort of dramatic, right? Now keep this in mind because in a minute I'll be up on top of it for you. You will see many things that were similar to what were shown in yesterday in the North Alabama. You're familiar with the videos from North Alabama. Now, further context, look at that. I am it's all the same. South of the circular metal deposit and all of these out, which I've already told you. So now there. Here. All right. Now this carries all the way down this hillside. See these two separate pieces. Backside of this beast. You see it divides here. Now you'll start to recognize some of this stuff from North Alabama, right? Giant pieces. These weird grooving marks, almost as though the stone had melted. Here. See, with these seams running through it. It's like half this thing's buried. The moss right? Is making the seam easy to see here. There is like a little quartzite, you know, around here, I believe, Tammy. Yeah, definitely at this site. It's again not, some of the roadside rocks. It doesn't exhibit quite like it does in North Alabama, where it's all these little white pebbles, you know. But indeed, there's probably what is more aptly described as quartzite, you know, around here. But what I was going to point out there for a second is the piece that I'm examining this whole time, guys. From the second that I walked in and I said, that big piece, okay, I'm still examining it, right? And in a second, I'll turn around and walk back on top of it. North Alabama, I've shown you ones were giant with this flaring from the heat. Same thing you see here, smaller instances. Right, and then what we bring ourselves up onto, look, smaller pieces, signs of flaring here. And this stuff, look how flat that is, and how much rougher it is. You know, it's so much rougher than on the top. Here. There. Now that is a really shot out to see where I walked in from the front, and I showed you it split, kind of like a J angle. That's it. For how big these things are. giant pieces. Now, I will go down here in a minute in this video and try to give you, perspective from the bottom. But up here is where you really can see, 2.5, 3 stories worth of chunks of stone here. Clean broken off. You see another one over here. And I'm at the top of the cliff. If you can call it a cliff. You see the shearing. Little knobs everywhere. You can see beneath the lichen. Now I'm going to attempt to get a video from the bottom, where again you can really see the evidence of the metal. Show you one coming in, and you can see them against the weather. But I wanted to revisit this place while I was here. The way this boulder right here is just sitting on. Yeah. So again, what I'm pointing out to you there is this is a separate piece, right? It's a strange place. It starts here at the top. Yeah, it's behind. Are you seeing lightning? Yeah, it's about 10 p.m. is when it's supposed to roll in. We're at 7:30 now, and I hope it keeps coming your way. That's Sarah is saying I'm about to get a smackdown from that storm. And both literally, what's really funny is that this was not in any way planned, but this video, I'm in a storm. I ended up getting in a storm. You see, I was wearing shoes there for a second. I had taken the daughters to a mall that was nearby, so I actually had shoes on. But yeah, not to stop here for too long, but just to point out, that's what I'm showing you is this is, while a massive rock that neither you nor I nor a Cat standard warehouse forklift would be able to much move, but here it sits on top of this giant thing here. Where and then down the hill you get this sort of scattered effect from these stones. Yeah, no doubt. There's even a little cave. There's a storm here coming up in this video, also here in real life, but I have to take refuge in a cave that no doubt some indigenous, yeah, most definitely. Totally agree. That's Tammy. I'm getting better at showing. There you go. Okay, rock and roll. Let me get back to my right tab. On top of that, now this gives you the context, you see, of when I had found, before I located and saw any of this, I found that triangular mound, guys, mound, this pile of pieces, large pieces of this stone with the drill holes in it. So then I come here, and down here on one of these rocks, I first noticed a little bit of splattered metal. It's obviously metal, and it looks splattered, so it was melted. Well, so, I had native knowledge, and I'm thinking, what we can do for the map, goons. Okay, Tammy, you missed it, so let me share this tab instead. See, so right here, this triangular mound. There's a video, guys. Don't worry. There's plenty of videos, but we're not focusing there today. But I wanted to begin to paint the picture, continue of Alabama's diversity of, oddities. And where we're looking at right here, Tammy, is what you missed. We're right here. If you can see my cursor, this place that says Moss Rock Preserve, right? Moss Rock Waterfalls, all up in this mess in between all this development is what we're running around in today. And then right down here, which I keep mentioning in this video, this triangular mound is here. Okay? Cool. Back at it. Start sharing this tab instead. Rock and roll. That wasn't them, right? And then you start seeing these rocks, and you see this sign of this high heat on all sides of it. And you go down this hillside, and you find the... So what tricked, what I'm mentioning here, and I'll just, since I'm here to talk to you, I'll do it here this way. What I'm mentioning here, and I'll show you here in this video, is this is the first place where I saw obvious some melted metal on the stone, and it just got my mind to thinking, just got me to looking around the place with a lot of questions. The rocks with the metal, all tangled in it. I've documented much of the site on Rumble, Moss Rock Preserve 1 through 9, right? So I didn't really want to focus too heavy on. There's a lot of this place on Rumble. These, what are called typically outcroppings, with all of these strange signs. Shear, right? Little boulders here, took high energy. Look at this flaring. And as you go down this hill, it's just the same. Look, you can see the sort of scalloping like it's exhibited on a lot of the stones in North Alabama, the scales of this giant thing, you know. And if we trace it all the way back over here, so here I'm still running along the top, right? You can see that this. Now, what I want to do to take, good use of our time here, again, you know where to find these videos if you're interested in all that I'm saying on this little tour I'm given of the place. Here, I just really want to try to continue to keep laying out what it looks like. Until the rain hits, I'm going to walk around and get a little more footage. But for now, from Moss Rock Preserve, a mile and a half, maybe two, as the crow flies, from the side of that triangular mound on the Cahaba River. Context is important. Hatchet Creek, which I've well documented, on X and on Rumble. They all know that. I walk. There we go. To provide context for this gorgeous. Okay, so here we're just going to start taking a look around, and you're going to start seeing different sides of these rocks. You're going to start seeing stuff like this, It again starts to feel quite like, look here, like a complex. Large piece there resting on top. Here, excellent signs of this, let's call it melting effect. The different texturing. And, the reason I, in my mind, am calling this melting, right, is it could be, feel free to say it's anything else. But you see all of these little pads that rise up, well, they're at the same level, right? Almost like, there was something that it sort of melted against or through, but it's evidence all through right here, right? And again, don't get too caught up on words. I try, I try to just use words that best describe what it looks like, right? Okay. Here, excellent signs of this, let's call it melting effect. Looks like a foot or a hand. Now you can see, okay, so, continuing 40 feet down. 35 feet down. 35. From here you see at this divide. Look at this. Look how round this scalloping, thing is. Right? And this rounded edge. Let me make this leap here. Get a good perspective on that. It's like a wall with like a walkway between it. It's what it feels like when you're there. Now look all the way, over there at the other sheer wall. It's like complex. And again, just using words to describe what it looks and feels like, not putting forth that it is what piles. Yeah, I'll stop there. Continue on. Look at this big thing, guys, and it's grounded at this end, right? 90s. This area is full of these type outcroppings. You see on both sides, look, over there I showed you when I was walking down, and here, a little scalloping as it comes down. Then these other pieces. Just as in North Alabama, right? 100 plus, 120 some odd miles north of here on Lookout Mountain. Throughout. You see this melting, right? See how it's got that concrete type look to it. And then the other side, in North Alabama. Yeah, like it's been much like what complex. It's just so walls, many different, just like the terracing. It's just so many different features of the stone, right? I mean, there's just so many different features to it. Scattered, tumbled. Look at how big these things are with all these horizontal lines. And then there's boulders over there that are smooth and rough. And it's just all of these things that make this place stand out to me and make it feel quite powerful. North of the giant triangular mound of rubble on the Cahaba River. You see, and I'm again, gosh, I don't know how far downhill, but I'm walking down quite a steep grade from that top cliff now. I've already walked down the cliff. And once you get down towards the creek, there's a little creek down. It's dry most of the time. It is a very tiny creek now. But there's a little creek right down in the bottom. Get the compass ring out of the camera there. So seeing as you get down here, there's these sort of just big chunks of stone. The melting, the seams of metal. You'll recognize this from many of the pieces in North Alabama, this little bubbling seam. You see one here and here, here. And then as it melts out, and even the stone, starts to take this melted appearance. With again, very large boulders on top. And the weather is probably about to bring this process to an end. But I gave you a quick snap. So you see all these pieces, right? Behind me here, big and small, scattered all the way from that top wall, Now that's what's odd. You get to that wall, and there's one large further, one piece up above it, right? Niagara Gorge, direct path of Younger Dryas Rush Water. Yeah, everything looks so scattered, doesn't it? Definitely. Uh-oh, wrong window, Jason. Is okay. Everywhere. It's not just rocks we're looking at. Now as I start to walk back uphill, again, these flat plains. Just a fascinating place, to go and just spend time with and get close in on everything, right? And see what's there. Fascinating spot. Again, and locating it after finding that triangular mound of this rock. Exceptionally fascinating place. Look at this pile here. Clean. And this has been your look at the rest of the stone oddities here in the area of Hoover, Alabama. Yeah, this guy. Clean. Look how flat it is. Shear lines. Metal. I mean, melted. Blown on top. It's so weird. And you can get a scale here. Keep you climbing. See the scale, right? As I'm working my way back up. Now, again, this is not the top. I'm just wanting to sort of paint a picture for you as I'm climbing. This is not the top, right? But you're starting to see how as I climb from the bottom of this tilted gorge, you've got these little, and by little the size of a fucking van, right? That keep getting bigger as we get to that wall at the top. I think that's important when trying to sort of decipher this location in any way. Look at this rock. Now let's give you perspective on this. Hear the rain starting to fall there, and I think we've got a while there. You see this cave? Check out this cave. Oh, look, we got a cave. Sanctuary indeed. Beautiful place. I'm going to enjoy a quiet moment. As I did, and there's again, this video is on YouTube, guys. Here, I think here I do a pretty good job, and I'm not going to waste your time listening here. But here I do a pretty good job of putting forth a bit of the thesis about what I think we're seeing from here to North Alabama.
Other stories, however.
So it's an excellent talk on narrative blindness, which, you know, I could take out on its own accord, but I'm too busy going out in the world. So if you want to look for Moss Rock Preserve on YouTube, Antediluvian Alabama, and
believes in a worldwide catastrophe.
Look for this speech that, you know, sort of came as I was just here in this cave seeking shelter from the rain. Something about narrative blindness, you know, came to me, which I think is important, and it's an important part of what we're doing here with this project, finding things. It's something, you know, that was personal to me. It was part of my personal process, walking myself from a certain narrative to another, and I think that's probably a good segue here at 40 minutes to shift. I want to shift directions real quick just to start getting a taste. But look at this little piece of metal sticking out of this fucking rock, guys. Okay? It's a weird place. It's just too weird. Look at it. Are you just looking at it? Look at this. Look, this is melted, okay? Metal. Now, I'm not saying the rock's melted, but you can see that this metal is.
At the base.
This was so many years ago. This was an old video I tagged
rock outcropping.
I tagged at the end.
Here, if I can not slip, see metal, okay, coming out of the seam. Now pan out, you can follow the seam up here. And now a particular feature as you follow the seam down here is where it at some point was molten. It had to be in order to come out of this seam. As you see, this flat lip right here looks almost like a sheet of metal sticking out, right? And then from that seam, it seems to have melted. Almost have a drip pattern.
Right, and so that's up and down on the rock, right?
Here and here. And now as I come around under the corner of the outcropping, here I've got splattered hot metal. Not coming out of a seam. And it continues again on top of the rock. Here you can see a splatter of, I don't know, paint or something on top of the rock. Okay, metal is the same. It's on top of the rock.
Yeah, and now what that means and where it's from, I have, you know, no idea. The fact that it was coming out of a seam in that rock, though, that I could trace out, and the fact that I could then see it splattered upon there, and at this time, you know, I'm really looking to native, you know, indigenous culture, and they certainly weren't metalworking. So it
megalithic construction
got my brain to wandering about that place. And then over the years, I did have one commentator on a video. Listen, I don't know why, whatever. People have to say the things they have to say for particular reasons. And I'd love to have anybody on the show that wants to talk about any of my work. But yeah, people come on and what did he say? He called me, I'm just a fly-by-nighter. Are the new lights too much? I was trying to add like a depth to it, you know? So like I put the white ones in front. So I don't know. But that's a bad candle. It's going out now. And the whole point of the candles is to try to illuminate the owl, right? A little bit. Since his buddy over here has got the little stained glass light. But that'll work for now. Let's take a look at one more video. We're going to shift gears just a little bit. We're going to talk about the beginning of all this, right? For myself. It's something that, you know, I don't exactly leap into excitedly, and it's probably why we're going to start it here at the end of this one instead of, you know, I started with the rocks and the maps. Because this story did begin itself with pain, right? With very trials. Trials is a good word tribulations is a general word, and pain, which I will not go into the specifics of because pain is relative, right? It's something we all know. 8 years ago or so, my life just started undergoing some radical redirections, right? Shamanic calling would be good terminology to use. Seeking of higher power would be AA's terminology, which I also owe quite a bit to, or those 12 steps, I should say, more so than anything in particular. That are indeed 12 steps to a spiritual awakening, no matter what they tell you up front, right? That is indeed the intent and the purpose, right? Is to somehow have formulaically set down methodology and a mapping to sort of a spiritual awakening, because alcoholism, or as I is sense and more sensible to say, all forms of addiction that we come across in this world are matters of the soul, right? Carl Jung, I think, famously said, it can't help you, it's an illness of the soul, right? And that's why his work actually was, influenced sort of those steps a lot. But we're not gonna linger too much there. But we must say that that's where this Genesis, right, began. And in seeking solace from what I was undergoing out in the real world, when my also break from it, right, being yanked out to these creeks that are here. This at first, nature was what I was seeking, and solace and solitude with God, right? That's what I was doing. Yeah. And that's as far as we have to go into it, because the rest is personal, and you all know what I mean by pain in life, and you all know what I mean by seeing to undergoing changes within yourself, right? That then manifest without yourself. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. I have a little video that I keep pinned. On the top of my X page, so maybe you guys have seen it, maybe you haven't. But it was the first video that I felt the need to put the title "Finding Things Within and Without" to, right? Now, as I began to explore that theme that developed here with this video, it grew, and it went all the way to a number 8, where that's like a 20-minute video where I really sort of dive into a backstory. And to stay with my standard, new set showtime, we won't be venturing there today. But I wanted to just start by taking a look and pointing out to folks that they could find these on Rumble, and take a look at a few of the things that I said in this video, and what it has to do with the mission of the show as well, besides telling the stories, which I've been laying the slow groundwork for, about the people that were in this place, and the many mysteries, right, yet to be discovered, and all of the native culture, all of the many things that have been sort of put here, to me, to somehow responsibly or irresponsibly, if it gets entertaining, no, I'm just kidding, to put forth, right? And that's why I am starting slow. In each episode, we're just trying to grab a little piece of here, a little piece of there, and start painting, the groundwork. So we're going to do that here within our remaining, 20 minutes or so, and look at this video, which, again, I didn't know, I didn't have in my head at the time when I'm filming this video. I felt the need to say something about how all this started, right? And I did it while I was that sort of pull came to me while I was at the site of where I discovered Mabilla. I call it the Mabilla complex, right? This creek that runs next to this crescent mound. You guys check out our first few episodes here that mimics the Wetumpka Impact Crater, right? That's this creek. But what came to me then was I wanted to say something about the genesis of all this, and then later, as I was uploading it to Rumble, this was well before I got on X or YouTube. This was, what was our date here? Okay, well, no, this was actually, I think, last Thanksgiving, or was it Thanksgiving before? Man, time flies. All right, let's let you guys listen. Is the crescent or sort of horseshoe shaped mound that I featured in the Mabilla Mound and Memorial video. Now, what I'm going to showcase here is a bit of the process, the how, and really how simple I think it is.
finding all of this stuff
Except
is
my name. That's
when
just not
you
right.
allow yourself to
Let's do that.
simply be present in your given moment, in your environment, right? Without objective, without objective other than to observe, to be there, to bring your faculties to bear, your curiosity, your observation, your intellect. But most importantly, just to be there observant without narrative or agenda. That is the key requirement, right? So I would come to places like this to be prayerful, to commune with God, to straighten things out within myself. And that necessitates a presence, right? An objectivity, a detachment from personal narrative, And so,
and what I'm getting at there is because of the pain, right? When you're going through something so painful, right? And I know it's silly without giving specifics, but when things involve your children, right, and the things most important to you in this world, things can get very, very painful. And if you're gonna somehow, with the help of your higher power, as you understand him, call him Chuck, I don't care, or Dolores, as you understand him, then you're gonna come to the point where you have to do something like just detach and turn around and look at it, right? Because there is so much pain you're trying to sort out and sort through and grow your way through, while mostly trying to survive at first, just hanging on. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I would go to these places and engage in these consciousness elevating activities, is one word. If the word prayerful, as I use there, bugs you, right? This is me by the fire with Luna, my dog at the time. Luna's passed. And I would engage in this process of sorting out what I was going to do. How do I make the moves in this life that is falling apart, in these powers that I'm also up against, in these court things, right, that have to do with family, court, children, all of that stuff. I would remove myself from all of that when I didn't have my children, and I would go out here to these places, and I would try to heal, right, to connect, That's what those 12 steps guide you towards, right? That conscious connection, as they term it, right? It's about that. It's about pursuing and maintaining that, as I understood it, right? And then that became my way of walking, my way of living. And in the process of that, I started discovering some things about the natives, right? I started here.
While you're doing that, you're getting opened up to so much more spiritually, you know. So at first for me, it was this ancestral tie, you know, getting in touch with the spirit of the native
See the leaf fall?
population.
That was nice.
You know, that not only I have a blood tie, but first, before I knew that, I found out I had a spiritual tie, you know, out here in these places. And then the things in the material world, you know, that you're finding that you don't see represented in any other major source of academic information, you start to collate and understand, you know, these are native living, have, you know.
What I want to get to.
Destroyed them.
So the middle of this is a speech about
wet it.
And all the evidence. All I'm doing here in this video is I'm just showing you randomly what you can pull up.
That's a different type metal.
I just sat down here to do this talk, and I said, let me just show you what you can randomly pull up at your feet, which we've looked at a lot. And this video is not widescreen, so I just want to get to what I'm saying to get to the point of kind of what we're playing around with here, or working on here. Jason, talk nice about yourself.
Of just checking in, being prayerful, and grabbing a few things with my hands, you can put together Mobilla with just a short history lesson for yourself. Why are there all these native artifacts? You know, the pottery, everything. Why are there these mounds, right? Why are there these rocks that got really hot on one side and not on the other? You see, and that's what all modern archaeological attempts seem to be lacking, is not only do they come equipped with a narrative, right? So they're blinded to what this could be, because if their narrative tells them this is not Mobilla or this stuff is not native, they miss it. These mounds are covered in brush, and you've seen the videos, thorns, you know. They're not just out, they miss it because they won't be present with it. Same goes for all the antediluvian stuff in the rocks, you know. Your eye can just glance at it and go, it has to be geologic. But if you just take a second and are present with it, you've seen from the last stream of videos, within moments, you go, how the fuck did that happen? You know, what is this? Let me go look. And because you're going at it without a narrative, without an objective, you're just present and curious, you're able to see so much more, even though you're just seeing what's there. Happy holidays.
Okay, so that was the video that afterwards I decided to call Finding Things Within.
Folks, you know I'm an investigative
journalist. I don't want you to
Mike.
play. What are you doing? Stop. Okay, what we might do, if we have time, you close out. We got a few minutes. Is I'll show you the beginning of where this series then went. And let me stop sharing. All right, and let me figure out how to work you. Thanks for the high five, Sarah. Yeah, the pain, you know, it's part of it, right? It's essential part of it. The pain is the secret sauce, is one of my sayings about it. but also that the pain is necessary and suffering is optional. And that is the why you see the humor out of me so much, you know, is yeah, pain is necessary, suffering is optional. I don't know. Those white lights might have made it too bright. Yeah. And do something like that, maybe. I don't know. Tell me what you think, guys. Happy holidays. Well, that was yeah. That was Thanksgiving. It wasn't this Thanksgiving past either. That was Thanksgiving a year ago. Put that out. Yeah, Rumble. Rumble is where you'll find me looking younger and goofier. When I first was trying to start documenting some of this stuff, Rumble is what I used, and you'll also that's the reason you haven't heard me talk about it a whole lot, even though I do pin my Rumble video right up top, is because I'm trying to refine what I was learning how to do there. Just as here with this live stream, I'm trying to refine what I've been learning how to do. Migraine pain is an arsehole when you got a migraine, Sarah. That's a totally different. Yeah, I was going with more along the having your life ripped apart, but having your head stabbed or your eyeballs stabbed repeatedly by an invisible needle is completely different, and I totally empathize. I don't suffer from them, but when I do get headaches, you'll probably see me behave as though it were a migraine because I can't stand them. Like I can't. It's so to have your brain hurt, to have the center of your. Yeah, it's just I do not like them at all, and I do get intense ones once in a while, but nothing like I know you go through with your migraines. That's what I mean by empathize. I'm sorry. What are you doing with the lights on? What are you doing listening to this? Should we bring it down? Is there like a particular? It's a little too ASMR-y, isn't it? We did say we were going to play around with the late night radio talk show aspect of this. It's probably not helping, is it? Okay, so let's see. We got a few more minutes. We got an hour. I said that I'd run up to an hour and a half, and we're at it dead on an hour. Let me look at where I was before I saw the need to give Sarah some attention with that migraine. Let me see. See, I'm not signed into Rumble here, so I was going to show you guys the tail end of what had developed after finding things within and without. So I don't know why this Rumble works with this ad. Rumble, what are you doing? And you keep see, man. I mean, I love Rumble. I love what they stand for, right? They want extra money to stream simultaneously. Which, sorry, I got to pay for the service anyway, so that's why I'm not streaming with you guys, right? But it's kind of weird to navigate because right here I'm on my own video, but instead I've got somebody else's video. You're going to try to force me to watch a few seconds of. There was no way to escape, and that is. That's terribly entertaining. I mean, aggravating, entertaining. I nearly said entertaining because Jacob almost pushed that screen down. That would have been entertaining. So, guys, I guess we're not supposed to watch this, but that's kind of pissing me off with Rumble a little bit. So I'm going to still be stubborn, and I'm just going to look myself up again. Still, though, why all these ads, man? Okay, let's share here. So again, feel free, go check out Rumble. You're gonna get a lot of talking. You're gonna see a lot of my early hits at the things I then show you, later on YouTube with just a little bit more knowledge. Here are so many videos that this is before I even really knew how to stitch stuff together, So you see so many videos that are just 3 minutes here. It just it's sloppy. So I don't really advertise it, but there's a lot here if you ever wanted to take a look. But what you see that happened out of that video I just showed you there, Creekside, was a little thing that you know, finding things within and without, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and what I want to find is 8, which would have been back on the first page here at the bottom. Yeah, and let's take 5 minutes here. It's a long video. We're not going to watch it all.
So I'm out here this morning looking through. Yesterday went down to.
So this is DeSoto metal. Me harvesting. Oh, just showing you what I brought back from the creek that day.
On this perch, on the tradition, this knowledge,
more artifacts,
this knowledge of the native people. Look at that. This.
It looks like a drawing.
This painting was here. Christ.
And then you'll see
for all of this.
What I start doing here, as I kind of started a video where I was like going to show some things, right? And what I started doing then was I noticed the painting, and I remembered, you know, how long that painting had been there, right? And I remembered how here in this workshop, like what all I'd been through, you know, what all I had done, you know, and this process that I sort of talking to you about. Spiritual alarm clock. Hey, Jacob. No, dude. Man, that's a lighter that you just... No. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Trust me, I hate having him not back here all the time when I'm streaming, but he's 8 months old, you know. It's a lot of puppy, and there's a lot of wires and all kinds of stuff back here that I can't watch him, you know. So it's kind of irresponsible, actually, to leave him back here. Why is there a take control of your health? See, it's just Rumble, man. Look at all these ads everywhere. I love you, Rumble. I do. I believe in what you believe in, you know, and I know YouTube is like all compromisey and stuff, but still. All right, let's keep trying this. Yeah, he is. He's a little bad. I mean, you know, he's not in trouble. I don't do that, you know, too much with dogs. It's this. They don't learn that way, you know.
Back before I recognized myself as shaman, at the beginning of it. You know, I was forced, I won't say forced, I was facing crises, you know. I was a man in crisis, keep it simple. And I needed a formula, you know. And Christ, he gave one. He said, pick up your cross and follow me. Now, he wasn't speaking literally, was he? He was talking about a living cross, you know.
Pain, you're suffering. And
pick up yours and follow me. Use my words, my formula. That's what I did, you know. Try to cut this part short here.
It should be said too, you know. Look, I know folks trigger on certain words like God and Christ, but you know, that's shaman numero uno just about right there. And when you read it, what you see is a map of how to navigate crises, you know, shamanic callings, you know, in a very real and actionable way, right? Here in this materialistic world. That's what I was getting to here. And let's keep.
And it was right here one night. And I heard.
This is the backyard, basically.
I heard those words. God led me to all this. To bring back here
show you guys. Now here I start going into
the environment. You learn
the
about
pain
what's been here before,
and the suffering and how
about how everywhere around you, whether you're in,
it's better just to talk to you guys after sending you to go check these
you
out.
plant one of those beauties.
But I really want you to see this area that I first started running out into, right
This
behind
I came
me.
to call sanctuary. When I was first being pulled out of the matrix, right? You know, whatever you want to call it, the limitations that our culture had put on us in our own development. I came here amongst these giant trees, right here, right behind this neighborhood, and I instantly was able to get in touch with and realize something intrinsic about my reality and my environment, about what it was, what it had been before, and what was still here now, what was present.
Much construction has started here
Now,
behind me.
I was a guy that just got yanked out of there and thrown into here and learned that that white thing marked fresh water and so much more.
So we're
From what I was, a guy who just thought this was a rock. Formula.
So can you hear the water? I found a cave right here behind the house, and that became a sacred place for me for many years as I started navigating these personal challenges. Right? His Jacob's little bad self. Yeah, he was. So that's the part that I wanted to just start introducing you guys to as to why it is called Finding Things Within and also Without, right? Because I got to the without by going within, right? Fixing myself, right? Couldn't stop drinking, couldn't do all of the things that I felt needed to be done, right? So I got yanked on this spiritual path of discovery, and it was the best thing in the world that could ever happen to you, and many of the days the shittiest thing in the world that could ever happen to you. Spiritual awakenings, am I right? So that's all I wanted to do. I think really tonight was I opened up your perspective to how this big rock story sort of not only takes place in North Alabama, right, but then brings itself down along the Cahaba River. Cahaba is going to be very important to this story. You're probably going to see quite a bit more material from me on the Cahaba River. It is pretty important to this story. So just get familiar if you're interested. I promise I'll get you there also as we move forward through this. But what I wanted to start today, because anytime you're not sure how to do something, guys, I'm telling you, just like do it. So that's what I was trying to do there with those two fast forwarding and snipping those quotes from those Finding Things videos, is start to open you up to what you may not be familiar with, which is some of my backstory and some of what it is that got me from who I was to who I am now, right? Why I use this screen name, Shaman 711. 711 is my birthday, by the way. That's where the 711 comes from. And we're at 1 minute and 13. There's been a lot of 13s today, so that's a good number, I think, to take it out on. I'm going to quit saying was what I'm going to learn how to do. And I will do one more episode of Finding Things Within and Without this week, along with, so I've got 3 other shows, that happen every weekend. So once the weekend gets here, it starts to get a little cramped. So I wanted to pick an evening where I could just get comfortable starting to speak on the spiritual side of things. You know, most of you guys found me from YouTube and from X, so you haven't, you know, so much unless you've paid attention, you know, to a couple of my particular posts, heard me start to explore these things. So I just wanted to go ahead and get the ball rolling there, show you where you could go find some background video if you're interested there on Rumble. But mostly, you know, it's about now and what the process is now, how it's unfolding, and I'll continue to share. But I get 3 episodes a week, and I told you, I told myself when we started this, we'd use those 3 episodes to try to start bouncing around each aspect of the story, right? The physical, the material, and the spiritual. I think we did it. I'm at a minute 14. Did I miss anybody in the chat? I don't think I did, and I can't tell you how much I greatly appreciate you ladies. It's all we got right now. Well, Ricardo's probably at no 8:30. He's not at work. Jacqueline, where's Ricardo? No. All right, guys, that got us episode 2 in for the week. Let me know if the lights provide the proper depth I was going for, or if that's just too fucking much. Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Let's end episode 10 on finding things within and without. Yeah, I guess you can probably sense I'm trying to cut it out of here after starting deep topics because, again, I haven't really, it's not stuff I've discussed a whole lot on all these lives. So if you're watching this back and you're going, why didn't he keep showing? You know, just understand it's because, like all of this project, you're watching me learn. You're watching me get comfortable. You're watching me hopefully be a little bit entertaining, but also start to dive into all of these topics and things I have to share with you guys, much of it for the first time. Love you guys. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in.